Hello everybody, welcome to this week's teaching video for the 13th of October. We are finishing our 2-week theme on prayer and worship. So last week we focused on prayer and we looked at the 5 fingers of prayer, and then today we're going to be looking at worship, what worship is and what that looks like in our lives. So for starters, let's look at consecrate. So let's see what everyone can remember from last week's session. And then let's just get a discussion going around worship. What comes to mind when we say worship? If you've got a whiteboard, if you've got a big bit of paper, you could just write down, get people to write down. What do they think of when they worship? Have you seen others worship? What does that look like? What do you think worship is? Is worship something that only Christians do? So like we did last week with the prayer, let's just get a conversation going to try and gauge where everyone is at. Then for consecrate, you've got this higher or lower game, okay? So you're going to be sent pictures of different items, and the young people have to guess how much they reckon each price will cost. Each item will cost. And this is kind of a game to get them thinking about how we value things and what things are worth, because that's going to be how we're approaching worship today, is giving worth to God. How much is our worship worth, or how much worth do we put on things or people or on God? So yeah, you have that game, and it has the prices, and then we'll send you the pictures of each item. So you've got that. There's more details in the teaching notes. And then for all groups today, but including consecrate, we're then going to look at the woman and the alabaster jar. So you're going to read from John chapter 12 verse 1 to 7 and look at this story of the woman breaking the jar over Jesus' feet and the expensive perfume, and how none of it was wasted and how much it was worth, and the argument that goes on between the worth of this perfume and, yeah, was it a waste to be poured on Jesus? And then you will read Psalm 150 together and make some time to pray or to worship on your USB stick. There's lots of songs you can use to help them worship. And just to pray and think on this idea of how do you think you could give more time to God, and what's precious to you, what takes up your time, what takes up your thoughts, your attention, and how can we give more of that to God? But yeah, more of the details are in the teaching notes. So that's consecrate. So for the younger groups, we're going to do a similar thing. We're going to start off by talking about what is worship, what comes to mind when you think of worship, and then we are also going to read about the woman and the alabaster jar. So also we want to just kind of touch on a few things first of like, what is worship, like simply for the kids? So it's when you give worth to something, it's like giving a gift to someone. It's special attention or time or focus, adoration to something. And we can give that to lots of different things, but that the Bible teaches us to worship God and God alone. So yeah, just kind of cover some of the basics in there, and then we're going to get into this story. So I will send you the Biggest Story Bible storybook. So you probably want to use this with the younger group, so up to year 3, and then the older children's group, you can just read it in the Bible, same as consecrate in John 12. But for the younger groups, you can read A Woman to Be Remembered. There's lots of lovely pictures, as always, from this book. So let's use the Bible, and then we're going to chat about that story and how the woman, that jar was so precious to her, and what was inside it was worth so much, and she poured it all out on Jesus as a gift, as an act of worship. And it's kind of this analogy or symbol of giving everything to God, that God is worthy of everything that we could give, everything that is precious, it belongs to him. And just trying to help the children understand this idea through this story, that yeah, we can give love, give time, give attention, our worship to Jesus, the gifts that he's given us. We touched on this a few weeks ago, that the gifts he's given us, how can we give back to him? So yeah, that worship is a gift, and God is worthy of our worship. That's what we want to try and communicate to the children. Obviously, you know your group, you know their age, you know their comprehension, so you take it where you know they'll understand. At the end of, or as a response after that story, I'm going to send all of you a little jar and some paper and pens. And we want all the children to think about what are they thankful for? What do they love about God or about his word? And try and get them thinking about yeah, what do they love? What are they thankful for? And as an act of worship, let's write it down. They can talk to God while they're writing or they're drawing it. And then they can come and fold up their piece of paper, stick it in the jar, and then you can have a jar full of their worship, like written down on a piece of paper. It's just, you know, analogy, an activity to help them kind of understand this idea of worshipping God and it being like a gift to him, and kind of, you know, like the jar from the story. We're not going to break it though. Please send these back. So yeah, all of you, I'll send a little jar and some paper and pen so you can write that in and just shove them in at the end. And obviously there's lots of songs on your USB stick if you want to worship through song and dancing and singing. For craft, we have a word search. I'll send the answers, and we have a really cool colouring which is from the storybook that we're using today of the woman and Jesus's feet, and just one of the memory verses colourings from this theme. So yes, I believe that is everything. This Sunday we have our safeguarding training 7 till 9 p.m, 7 till 8:30, 9 p.m. If you haven't already, let me know that you are or aren't coming. Please let me know so I know who to expect. And also, if you are around for our autumn party, which is on the 31st of October, 4 till 6 p.m, please let me know if you want to come and help out, or if you're just going to bring your family. You're very welcome. Let's remind the children about the party to invite their friends. And yes, I hope you have a great week. And please let me know if you have any questions, feedback. Yeah. Bye.